Hey peeps, welcome to my channel. For those who have been here before, welcome back. And for those who are new to this, welcome. If you're new, hopefully you find a second home or third home or however many of homes you have on the internet. It's practically limitless. But yeah, so usually on Saturdays like these, we usually do Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. So that's my usual thing. However, today, my gaming partner is a little busy, so we're going to be doing something a little bit different than usual. It's going to feel well, hopefully you come out a lot better than you came in, is all I wish for. So, usually on full moons, like the one we're experiencing this weekend, I do the limitation rituals. So you may notice when it comes to like my gaming thing, especially down here when it says meditation. Hold on, like this. There we go. Like right over here where it says meditation circles may change my streaming dates. That's what I'm referring to. Meditation circles sometimes do change my streaming dates. So far it hasn't happened too much because I would often do it after my stream's over or just before my stream's happening. And this time in a way it kind of was more of a beautiful coincidence, if anything. So yeah, initially it was just out of a little bit of a whim. But now I just kind of felt like, you know what? I feel like this is what I need tonight. Just a little bit of company and a little bit of dialogue with you. And in a way as well, like I said earlier, with my Twitch stream, I doubt any of you watched that because unfortunately the on-demand footage did not save on Twitch. But for those who happened to catch that, one of my wishes was to diversify my content on my YouTube and Twitch channels. So this is another way you can, in a way, find out about me, which is through doing a little meditation ritual with me. So yeah. So that's basically how we got down to today. For those who are in my friend circle, this has been pretty highly demanded, actually. People have been requesting this for the longest time, whether it's in this format or in a podcasting format. And I wasn't really sure how I was going to deliver this to you, if I was going to, let alone if I was going to, because I know how personal spirituality and self-care can be, whether in a community setting or in a personal setting. So please know that I did not take this leap of faith very lightly. Literally and figuratively. So, if you feel uncomfortable or if you feel like unsubscribing to me at this point, I completely understand. If you just want to stay on for just the gaming content, I understand completely too. If you want to take this little leap of faith with me, feel free. Come on in. Grab a chair. Get into something really comfortable. Unlike most rituals, I try to be as chill as possible. I'm in my PJs right now. Then again, when are we not? Proof. That's the one thing I love to be, which is comfortable. Very, very comfortable. So grab yourself some cup of tea, some wine if you want to, some warm milk. I don't discriminate when it comes to beverages. Whatever makes you feel good, go for it. I'm here. How about I have wireless headphones? That's fine too. Even better. You can walk around while you listen. All right. If you want to grab some crystals or um, your book of faith or even a candle or just your mere presence, whatever makes you feel right, you go do that. So yeah, in terms of doing moon rituals, I mean, it's not my first rodeo. I've kind of been doing moon rituals without really knowing there were moon rituals pretty much all my life. But in terms of like the formalized ones, I kind of started doing it back in 2017, I believe. So this makes like 5 years since I started doing them. About 5 years. And that was basically after a really profound stage of grief that I went through. I think I mentioned it like a few streams back or a few years ago. I lost an uncle to leukemia, and then not too long after that, my godmother, my baptismal godmother, was murdered just a day or two before her wedding anniversary, which is really painful. So both of those spaces of grief were just not, I was just not in a great place at that point. I was questioning everything. I mean, you do question a lot when you're in your 20s, but like, I would not wish that kind of questioning on anybody if you can help it. But yeah, it was it was a really dark time. Like, looking back on it, it felt like another life. It took me about 2 or 3 years after that to even mention either of the names without weeping steeply. Yeah, during that time, I was already into alternative spiritualities at that point, and I've been that way pretty much my entire life. But I kind of started jumping in a bit more seriously around that point. And then one day, a little channel popped up on my feed, on my YouTube feed, called Sage Goddess, which is a shop up in Torrance, California. And this sweet lady named Athena Parakis, Dr. Athena Parakis, let's use titles here, she led this really amazing full moon ritual which changed the course of my life, and I've been attending ever since. So I've been attending them pretty consistently for the past 5 years. Nowadays, because I do my own, I don't do them as much, but I still attend when I can because the community is really cool. I like it. And now I've kind of integrated into my personal practice ever since. So huge thanks to her. And then over time, I started getting into more other practices. Another channel started popping up. Bahati Life, Moon and Nate, Flourishing Goddess, Summer Corral. Most of you on this channel who happen to tune in have probably come from there as well. So, hi Sima. And Clarice, hello. Hope you're having a great weekend. Oof. But yeah, came across so many spiritual channels back to back after that, and And then combined with personal introspection, and, well, not personal introspection, but combined with some introspection, and one summer where I just was like, let me just read whatever I want, whatever feels motivating to me. And I noticed like everything that I focused on was very much about spirituality. And then it kind of gradually over time actually became my career and my school path, which is what I'm currently doing. I'm currently doing a degree, a liberal arts master's in religion at Harvard University's Extension School, which I recently got accepted to earlier this summer. So all of that has led me to here, has led me to this moment. I've been running a personal group where I've been doing circles on my own. Then first with the Sage Goddess community and the Flourishing Goddess community, and then later on, I started my own circle, which we haven't met up in a while. We've been overdue for a gathering for quite some time. Hopefully this kind of brings that back. Yeah, it's been about 2 months since we've done like a ritual proper. But hopefully we get back to the swing of things. But this hopefully will be like a little taste of what I tend to do. So yeah, this was a huge leap. I don't know how many times I'm going to do this. Probably not very much, but we'll see. I just felt like opening up this side of me to you. I wanted to wait until my second channel to do this, but something told me, don't do it alone tonight. Go to your channel. So I did. And, well, here I am. So yeah. So for those who are kind of new to how this works, or you've never tried this thing before, you don't have to go as elaborate. You can just do something as simple as just light a candle and sit there, or read, or journal. Do whatever you want that makes you comfortable. I'm just here to set a safe space for you to just be. That's one of the messages that I got a lot, was just, chill out, my friend. You are going to be fine. But it's really true. Like, you just need to remember to relax and breathe. We naturally do that. Just relax and breathe, and you can do it. And also, get a support system around you. Support system is very, very important, especially now. If you don't have one, create one. It's never too late. Nowadays, we have really good ways of connecting with other people. Even if it seems very, believe it or not, there are pros and cons to everything. And the internet's no different, So, just relax and you'll be fine. Okay. Now, I know for those who, especially the friends who are having to tune into this channel, whether right now or a few days down the road, I know you're used to the really awesome boomy playlists, but obviously I can't play that because now I mean, first YouTube and then now Twitch, they're doing copyright strikes. So I can't exactly do that, unfortunately. So I'm going to be doing some... So thankfully there is a lot of copyright-free music on YouTube. So loads of copyright-free music on YouTube. So gonna be playing some of that. Hopefully it sounds good, and if not, well, I'm gonna post my playlist in the okay. Gotta post my playlist in the chat. There we go. Gotta play some playlists in the chat. For those who are coming in from Twitch, here is my YouTube channel in case you want to comment yourself. Because I know that people, because this is going to be pretty critical of what you want to do if you want to jump in like a little more personally. So here's what I usually do in terms of formula. So think of a ritual as like a story. We are writing this story together. Start off with our opening. I mean, we're all familiar with the formula. Once upon a time, which in this case is the opening of the 4 directions. Then we craft our journey as we go. We put intentions out there. We see them into fruition. We meditate on our journey so far. Marvel at how far we've come and where we're going to go. Give ourselves that one last push, or that one more push, to get through that challenge, that obstacle, or those nerves that may kick in, that may set us back a peg. And also that knowledge and that reinforcement that you have friends all over this beautiful world we call Earth. And then tie up the loose ends. Come away with a little bit of wisdom. And then we close this chapter, or we close this book, and we write a new one. Come next month. That's how it works here. So we're going to call in the 4 directions. Then we're going to do... so tonight I felt like doing a little bit of a card pull. Card pull from Alana Fairchild's Isis Oracle. I'm going to lead you through a meditation from this book. Then, if anybody's interested, then I'm going to pull some tarot, Shadowscapes Tarot from Stephanie Plain Moon Law. Maybe some runes if anybody's interested. And if anybody is interested in getting some like their personal readings, feel free to comment in the chat and I'll pull something. Don't get too personal. No astrology dates or anything. And I'm going. This is a caveat that I do even with my reading services. I do not do predictions. And I work hard to make sure they're not predictions because ultimately we are humans with free will. This is basically the information I am displaying at this current place and this current time, whatever's relevant to you. You take what you need and leave the rest. And go with what resonates with you. Okay? This is just a space for you to feel empowered and restored. And then we shall close the circle. Hopefully come away better than you came in. And, well, move on with our week and our month and see how everything goes. Okay? Just let me know if you want me to do more of these on camera, because Again, I know this is very different, so... Alright. The very first rule when it comes to things like these is set and setting. So, go ahead, make yourself comfortable. Stretch yourself out. Get your beverage. Whatever spiritual tools you've got. And, well, let's get started. Some music in the background. I've also been listening to this Coldplay track called Coloratura from their upcoming album Music of the Spears. Don't be surprised if, like, I happen to go to a Coldplay concert tomorrow. But yeah, go ahead and end your ritual with that, like, after this is over. Because it's a really, 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 really good song. Really good song. So, yeah. So to begin, go ahead and take some deep breaths. And set the intention, whether it's for tonight, this upcoming week, next month, the remainder of this year, just for this next few minutes. Ritual goes however long it needs to go. Had a hard day. This is a chance for you to just loosen up and let go. Had a good day. Carry some of the good energy with you. Regardless of what kind of day you had. What are your takeaways? What are your takeaways? Feel free to note them down in your journal as well. Got this spray from Full Moon Radio. It's really nice. It's frankincense, myrrh, and lang lang. Kind of realized, like, nowadays I don't really rely on belief anymore as a method of faith, because regardless of your spirituality, whether it's yourself spiritual or you're atheist even, do whatever feels good, whatever feels right to you. All other rituals, you know? Safe space here. And today, I found the mood for some jasmine incense. It's a really nice one. Ooh. Just imagine all your worries leaving you here, and yeah. Going, and got our candle going. So choose a yellow one for the season, just for overall mood. May we feel really good, like the bright sunshine we see every single day. I got 3 choices of divination that I can pull today if anybody's in the mood. We've got runes. Pardon me, I just hit my meditation bell. We've got Isis Oracle. And we've got the Shadowscapes Tarot. So if you're in the mood for a reading, feel free to request it in the chat. Like if you'd like one, if you want to check in, you ask questions, and respect your privacy, my friends. If you want to go more in depth, I do have a Fiverr shop, but please act before the 31st, because after that, I'm going into hiatus for the rest of 2021. So, this will be a good time. If you want to get a reading from me, and if you vibe, you know? Alright, did I forget anything else? No, I don't think I have. Oh, yes. So, this opening of the circle will be coming from the Book of Blessings and Rituals by the very person I mentioned earlier in the beginning, Dr. Athena Parakis from Sage Goddess. Here is an invocation of universal support. I'm adapting it a little bit. This is usually a New Year invocation, but considering that it's a full moon, I'm gonna adapt the word a little bit. All right. So here we go. Feel free to close your eyes if you want to, and let us begin. Type this up. There you go. You're welcome. I see my vision for this full moon, focusing my will and intention on the dreams within my heart. I open my mind and spirit to receive and allow energies to flow that will co-create my intention in full alignment with my highest good and the highest good of all beings. I receive support from the north and the elder spirits who bring me wisdom. I receive flow from the west and the grandmothers who encourage my trust. I receive strength from the south and elements of courage to empower me. I receive inspiration from the east and fuel for the long journeys ahead. I receive wisdom from my Creator, the essence of all life, and I allow that knowing to flow and move freely through me. I root deeply into Pachamama, trusting that she can hold me steady during the storms of life. And I connect powerfully with Source, attuning to universal frequencies of love. As above, so below. As within, so without. I welcome universal support from all directions, and to give thanks for spirit guidance. And then, I hope that's how it is. And now that I want to acknowledge, I am currently doing this ritual in the lands of the Lenape and the Nanticoke peoples. So, happen to be on indigenous land, feel free to honor that in the comments below. especially in the continental Turtle Island. I am non-indigenous myself. I just happen to have a lot of friends who are, so I feel like it's really important to acknowledge that, especially with what's happening right now in Minnesota and Texas. So, which I will go into at the very end of this. So, I don't know about you, but this week in particular has been very, very intense. I've been going through a lot of things at work. I just started a second job. So I've been finding that I've been pretty tapped out spiritually. Excuse me. I've been feeling really tapped out spiritually. Ritual just haven't been 100% there. I missed for the first time outside of my, like, I usually, if I do miss something, it tends to be something that's out of my control, but this last time, I literally just had no energy, like, no strength to go through it. I talked to nobody, I saw nobody, just nothing. The moment I got back home, I just shut down. And that's been my mode for the past few days. And it's just like wondering just what's going on. I usually am more peppy. I'm more up there. I'm able to give back to my friends and my family. And lately, I've just not been feeling myself. And I realize now that I need to just give myself just a bit more rest, a bit more self-care. And I recently came across a TED Talk by Dr. Snagowski about burnout and treatment for it, which is having the safe space to be able to express what's been exhausting you, let the stress response run its course. But then also have the community support, which they say is not necessarily self-care, but I disagree on that. I think the terminology is a little different, because I think community support is another form of self-care. Because for some cultures, communal support, whether it's with a select group of friends, or a huge village, or town, or city, gathering together under one purpose, regardless of which way you look at it. That, in a way, is an extension of yourself. So, technically, it is a form of self-care. And I just didn't finish the culture part. But in some cultures, collective thinking is self-thinking. Like, there was research that was done by neuroscientists where it compared people from Western societies versus people from Eastern societies or from more collectivist societies, and where the brain lit up when it came to like the words like I and me. Western society is pretty obvious, very much self-centered. But then when the collectivist society had their brain scanned, the way their areas lit up was kind of where their self also lit up, but then they also thought of things like their parents or their friends or their family. So their eyes were like a royal we. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, I disagree with them not saying that it's self-care. I think it is. It's just another form of it. And obviously everything has their balances. So yeah, This is my way of reaching out to my community, my gaming and my spiritual communities. Okay. Here, one sec, guys. Alright, thank you for your patience. My parents just came back from a party. Hopefully they had a good time. Alright. So hopefully that gives you some time to digest. Like, healing comes in different forms. That's another thing I kind of realized. Like, I watched a Vox video about, even, like, therapy for all of us. Yes and no. There are a ton of structural things that we need to fix when it comes to therapy and medical therapy, and then there are perspectives that still have yet to be honored. So, I believe science and spirituality can definitely coexist. We just need to get out of that binary. So let's go ahead and pull 3 cards for this current climate, as well as things that we can learn and what we can experience. Okay, kind of zoom in a little. Let me blow myself up. I know, very unprofessional, but it's my show. I can do whatever I want. Haha. Alright. So, first card is the 8 of Wands. So, for those who don't know tarot suits, there are 4 suits in the minor arcana. Wands, swords, chalices, and pentacles. Wands are associated with the element of fire and creativity. Water chalices are associated with the element of water and usually with emotion or intuition. Swords are associated with the element of air and usually are about critical thinking and logic and discernment. And earth of pentacles, some schools call it coins. Obviously it's about money and earthly matters, material stuff. So we got the 8 of Swords. He has swords. There's a sword down here. That's why. We got the 8 of Wands. This is all about creativity. All about that creativity. And usually it's all about labor of some sort, a great undertaking. If it's some sort of project that you've been doing, this is the start of that or a continuation of that. For those who are trying to create something new or trying to generate something, this is a great time to start reflecting on what it is that you really want to do, what it is you really want to bring to life, whether it's literal life, like a pet, or a child, adopted, or natural born, or through other means. a project, like a book, a movie, a poem, or even starting a new business, doing some life-changing research, a charitable project. This is a good time to reflect on that. Start thinking about those things that you really want to do, what makes you come alive. And you don't know what it is? Good time to discover it as well. It's not an age thing either. Anybody can do it, whether you are 8 or... This is just a joke. Whether you're 8 or 800, have fun. Go. The world's your oyster. Alright. And then secondly, it's kind of... I think this second card kind of pulls the point home. And then minor arcana, I just mentioned that. I kind of look at it as kind of like the details or like the side quests of your story. And then there's the major arcana, or court cards, which sometimes call, where they're about like the major character arcs or the major plot points that the main protagonist, which is you, yes, you are the protagonist of your own story. Your own story, let me emphasize that. You're the main protagonist of your own story, and these are some of the trials, tribulations, or experiences you may undergo, or you may see, or you may discover on this journey that we call life. And here is the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess is all about wisdom. In this case, more intuitive wisdom, like getting it directly from the source. Getting it from nature, or whatever resources that you can find. In your house, in your books, online, whatever you can find. Being open. And you're just basically looking for answers. This is where you're looking for answers. It very much ties into this card here with the Eight of Wands. You're basically looking for answers. And this time is unlocking the door to those answers. Now, don't know if you could see the pomegranate in her left hand. The artist of this deck references a lot of mythology, and the pomegranate it's a symbol of fertility. But that can also be a symbol of Persephone, who is the goddess of the underworld. And depending on which version of the tale you hear, I mean, there's the one popularized by Lore Olympus, but the one that I grew up with, it saw the underworld more as a space of discovering power and wisdom and transformation. Whether it's the cycle of life, or in Kore's case, in Persephone's case, transitioning from being a maiden to a woman. We're going through huge transformations in our lives all the time. Whether it's seasons, birthdays, career, an addition or subtraction to a family or friend group, a move, a routine. Even something simple as changing what beverage you want to drink. We are going through these changes all the time. all the time. And sometimes those changes can hurt. Like the past can hurt. But Rafiki made some pretty good wisdom in The Lion King. You could either run from it or learn from it. That scene always stuck out to me. I've watched a lot of The Lion King growing up, so there was that. But that scene had a really good piece of wisdom. That and whatever stuff you've got, like the love that you have, the love that you're able to give, the connections you have with your family and friends, the people that are important to you the most. They live in you as much as you live in them. You may not think that that's the case, but it's very true. It's very true. All these lives within you, and you live within them. We're sharing this life together. And you have that special stuff, that special gift in your life. Yeah? Now, obviously, when you're learning new information, you may come across a personal stalemate, which is very much in the Two of Swords. I kind of look at this card as a little bit of a mental impasse, you know? Cognitive impasse, or personal impasse, or a mental guardian. Because especially now, we could feel like, well, I have to protect myself. I'm trying to phrase this correctly. It's like a method of self-protection, or trying to balance it out, trying to see it from multiple perspectives, but then you yourself are basically at a steep impasse. And if you are in the middle, that's okay. Nobody has to force you to move on one side or the other. Only you can decide that. It's the knowledge between when you have to put your foot down and when you have to negotiate. That's the very important part. Like, the thing I just noticed immediately when I looked at this card, I mean, you can obviously see this figure basically guarding themselves, like basically being neutral. But then you see the heart dangling right here. And then down this way, you see these swans giving flowers, almost like an olive branch. Sometimes you gotta know when to put the swords down, when to pick it back up. And whatever decision you come to, you have to know that you are going to be okay. That the good times do pass. Just as bad times do. The good times do pass. You have the memory of them to keep. The bad times pass, so that way you appreciate the good things when they come their way, but then also you learn that you are stronger than you think. and maybe to avoid a few wrong turns. Yeah. That was a pretty deep one. Wow. Whew. Hope y'all are doing okay, because that's the other thing. It's just, I tend to talk about things that are kind of food for thought. I mean, I'm still working on the humor angle. My humor is a bit more situational or referential. It's not really spur of the moment or prank-like or witty, as much as I want to be witty. I'm not, per se. Unless it's in a space that kind of encourages it. So, it's very situational, in my case. Comedians are incredible. Alright, so this. I'm gonna pick a card here for our meditation for tonight. I may follow along post haste. So that way I can focus more on giving you the space you need to be settled here. Rest assured, I do this stuff personally too. And what I love about these rituals is that we're co-creating the space together. It's not just me doing this, it's all of us making this safe. All of us making this comfortable. All of us expressing our own ways of being in this world. You know? So, kind of fitting, because I've been doing a lot of work based on this. Today's card is Pyramid of Light. Step your vibration deeper into love. Illustrations are gorgeous in here. Like, honestly, whoever did this from, like, Blue Angel Publishing. Jimmy Manton. Thank you, Jimmy Manton. You have made some really gorgeous decks. And also thank you, Alana Fairchild and Blue Angel Publishing for making these meditations. Gotta give credit where it's due. Big thing I love from academia. Give credit. Give credit. It is also known as psychic protection. Interesting. Okay. As being growing in significant light, darker energies can become more attracted to you. There is nothing to fear and only more mastery and awareness of the power and protection of divine love to experience. Here is guidance and the skills you have within you now to deal with any undesired interference. The Pyramid of Light confirms that energies have been causing interference in your path. Excuse me. And it is time now to end that interference with love and compassion. So, this is it's a pretty nice one. So, go ahead and take a seat, my friends, if you want to take part in this meditation. If you just want to journal along or just watch along, feel free to do that. So, those watching in post, got that. All right. Now, you can take a seat or lie down, as long as your spine is relatively straight or aligned. Imagine, sense, perceive, or feel an enormous shining eye of the divine gazing out from the center of the sun. Feel free to borrow this image if you have aphantasia. Imagine that this enormous eye in the center of the sun is made of pure white light, with flecks of neon violet in the center and around the edges of every light particle. The light is electric violet, alive and powerful with spiritual energy. Imagine this huge eye as a powerful point of light above your head. Then visualize, sense, perceive, or intend that this point of light shoots out in 4 distinct directions, landing as 4 separate points beneath you, forming a square base for your pyramid of light, with each point joining together. The base of the pyramid of light is filled with electric violet light. Each of the 4 corners of the base shoot light up to the point above your head, forming the apex and 4 sides of the pyramid of light, which then are filled with electric violet light. Soon you are completely encompassed within your pyramid of light. Imagine within your pyramid 7 stars of light now form, made of pure white light with neon violet in the center and in the edges of every light particle. Each star of light within your pyramid aligns with each of your 7 energy centers, one at the top of your head, next at your forehead, next at your throat, then your heart space, your solar plexus, which around the abdominals, your belly, and the base of your spine. Then 2 additional stars form above the crown and beneath your body in the earth, all contained within your pyramid of light. But the pyramid needs to expand in size to allow for these 2 additional stars to fit comfortably within it. Let that happen now. Finally, allow for 4 smaller stars to form in the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. You are now completely and thoroughly contained within your cleansing, protective pyramid of light now. Now stay here for a few moments and really feel this energy. Now, reflect upon this phrase. If you feel like writing it down afterwards, feel free to do so. As a sovereign being of light, I now claim full ownership of my energy field, and any being or entity that is draining my energy or fueling me with fear no longer has my permission to be in my energy field. You must leave, beloveds. I honor you and wish you well, but you cannot stay here anymore, and you cannot return. Of my own free will, and through divine grace and the protection of unconditional love, this is now. So be it. Have the statement come from a space of love, never from force. Coming firmly from a place of love and clear boundaries is more than enough. Then reflect on this phrase. I ask that this pyramid be held in place for the coming week, or however long serves my highest and greatest good. I program it to deflect negative energies and allow negative energies to continue to leave my body mind, and energy field. I also program it to allow positive energies to enter and remain in my body, mind, and energy field. Through the grace of the divine and my own free will, so be it. And we shall end this meditation with this incantation. I am love. I am light. To manage my own energy field, I have every right. Compassion, peace, and strength, I am. I witness the dark with peace in my heart. In my energy, there is space only for love that is unconditional and gentle as the dove. I am unconditional love. I am unconditional love. I am unconditional love. Now gently open your eyes. Again, thanks to Alana Fairchild for doing these meditations and these cards. They are really deep. At least some of the meditations are also online, so if you want to try some of these on your own, you're welcome to do so. So now that we are in this really, really great space here, open to wisdom, open to beautiful possibilities. Anybody in the mood for a reading or a reflection? I'm all ears. I've been feeling really down this week. But this moment, this space was definitely what I needed to come back. Come back to how I normally feel, how I usually am. It's wonderful. It's really wonderful. How's everybody feeling? I'm feeling really good right now. I'm feeling so much better. Feeling really good. You know what? I am in a mood for some runes, actually. Let's just play one. No? Hands are saying two. Okay. Both in reverse. Excuse me. Alright. So we've got Manas and the blank. I know for some people they read the reversals. I do for runes, but I don't for tarot. Oh my god, the Manas looks upright. There's the way I was holding it. So Manas, which I have pulled before. It's on the 4th. It's the 4th rune in the 8 of Tyr. Or Tiwaz. Not because of the rune Tiwaz, the actual alphabet Tiwaz. Getting this reference from the Book of Runes by Cassandra Eason. When it's symbol side up, which I think it was, but it was just sandwiched, like the way I pulled it out was kind of sandwiched like this. When symbol side up, it's the acceptance of weaknesses and strengths of self and others. I swear, I'm not trying that hard with this. It just basically reiterates all the things I just said earlier. When it's symbol side up, is acceptance of the weaknesses and strengths of self and others, equality at work and in relationships, learning new skills, striving for perfection, in all matters of structured learning, study, and dealings with officialdom. When the blank side is up, challenges with being overcritical and expecting impossible standards of self and others, problems with ageism, sexism, religious and racial intolerance, and fighting against cynical or corrupt authority. And here is the meaning and when it appears. Manas, the rune of the man and the woman, is the rune of our strengths and weaknesses and finding a meaningful lifestyle. Odin and his brothers formed the first man and woman from an ash and an elm tree, and their descendants repopulate the new world after the destruction of the old. The Anglo-Saxon rune poem, also known as I think it's like the alphabet system is known as the Elder Futhark, but like the rune poem, the Edda, the Poetic Edda, that's what it's called, talks of the mortality of mankind and of man, in his gladness, being loved by his kinfolk, and yet ultimately divided from them in death. Manas represents a potential to reach spiritual enlightenment, and says that we should value our relationships, but ultimately accept that we are our separate selves and can't totally live through others. That's the thing I said earlier about we live in each other, but we also have distinct parts in our world. Kind of shows in the rune itself when you really think about like the intersection and then here. For those who are more familiar with runes, kind of reminds me of Wunjo, Joy Rune, but like duplicated in two sides. So anyway, man can bring joy to each other. When it appears in the reading, maximize your strengths and abilities and do not deny your innate weaknesses. Do not blame others for them or expect them to compensate. Any inequality or unfairness will be overcome if you keep pushing, whether through a glass ceiling at work or discrimination because we or loved ones are in some way different. A new skill you need to learn will become easier. It may also be a moment to claim credit for your knowledge and hard work. Very true, especially among my academic friends. We can often, especially if we're still students, we tend to suppress our credit in hopes of appearing humble, but that's times like those that we can step up just a little bit more. You know? Times you need to put your foot down. If the blank side is facing up, accept that you are not Superman or Wonder Woman, and that you may need to hand responsibilities over if you're doing more than your share, or ask for advice or help, or delegate. If you find someone you loved or looked up to has flaws and lets you down, happens a lot, even to the best of people, But this may not be a reason to abandon the relationship or situation. Instead, see what can be mended and how trust can be restored. Very important. Very, very important. Now, and then finally, cover the blank runes. The first time it's actually ever appeared in a reading. I forget who made these, but the wood smells really good. Casting the blank rune may bring to the forefront a key issue or major life transition. I just said something about transitions earlier with the tarot cards. Wow. Which may be one time to consider all the options before acting. It can also indicate an unexpected element or opportunity. This blank rune is called the Rune of Odin, the father god of prophecy, or the Rune of Weird. The future you can decide and shape. See what I said about free will? It's basically this rune in a nutshell. When the blank appears in a reading, you cannot rely on traditional answers or the advice of others, and the right course may represent a leap into the unknown. You are at a crossroads and the future is still to be explored and determined by you. So, there are a lot of things that are out of your control. There are also a lot of things that you can do, likewise, to shift your life in a different direction. That's the wonderful thing about being human. There are so many ways you can go about things. So many ways. All right. And with that, drawing any additional readings that anybody wants to do after this, you're welcome to do so. We are going to close up the space. To the Guardians of the North, we thank you for the safe space of wisdom, even in the space that we call Mother Earth. We remember to be stewards to this land and to always take care of it, as well as we take care of ourselves and each other. Thank you for your services and your duties to this circle. I release you. You may leave or stay as you will. Guardians of the West, we thank you for helping us get in touch with our emotions and our inner wisdom tonight. And may we continue to do so after this. May we remember that our inner light is just as valid as seeing the lights of others. That whatever decisions that we make, or whatever we feel, is quite alright. That whatever we do, you're gonna be okay. I thank you for your duties to the circle. I release you. You may leave or stay as you will. Guardians of the South, element of fire, we thank you for re-invoking and stirring up our motivation and our passion tonight. That May we find the things, find and rediscover the things that make us come alive, that make us create, make us smile, make us work towards a bigger and much better purpose, much greater than ourselves. I thank you and release you from the juice to the circle. You leave or stay as you will. And last but certainly not least, to the guardians of the East, element of air. Thank you for this new start. Thank you for our abilities to think, whether it's through ideas or critical thinking and discernment. That we have the ability to accommodate for all situations, all peoples, all places, all faces, all states of being. And may we continue to be open to new thought, as well as respect the old. And may we enjoy this beautiful air that we breathe, and the lives that we can see. Thank you, and release you from the juice of the circle. You may leave or stay if you will. And so it is. Whew, that was good. That was really good. I feel amazing. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like on top of the world right now. And if you still feel tired, if you still feel a little bit that's okay too. We are all different. We are all different here, and that is perfectly okay. But regardless of your energy levels, you feel like sleeping afterwards, or feel like going a little bit more afterwards, I hope you feel much better than when you came in. I certainly do. So, to get back to my usual streaming business. Well, we did not do part 20 of Parasite Eve this week. I was really tired. And also, we did not do Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore tonight. So, that means next week is essentially a very, very, very new start, essentially. So, Barony, Monday night, on Tobias Tantalus' channel, as well as my own, on Twitch. Then, Parasite Eve 2, live on both YouTube and Twitch on my channels. Then, Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. We will start Rod's route. Excuse me. And, oh yes, on Thursday, on Tobias Tantalus' channel, we're doing a new visual novel, Stories of Mara, which is in the same universe as Dayland Pocket Planet and Summer in Mara. Visual novel covering various characters from that game. So I look forward to that. Now, in terms of my Fiverr shop, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be shutting it down on the 31st. I'm not going to do any more commissions unless message directly. And so, if you request any of these codes, you will receive what is there accordingly. If you use Blackout, you'll get a supplemental archetype. If you use Lammas, you'll get a free rune reading, just like what I just did earlier. Proceeds going towards the Red Lake Treaty Camp. And if you use Birthday Noir, this is the last weekend you'll be able to use that code. You'll get a full-fledged reading with 1 card pricing. Now, another thing you can do for me is support the Red Lake Treaty Camp. The Anishinaabe Nation is currently going through a challenge. Enbridge Corporation is building an oil pipeline for tar sands that is going through a lot of their sacred lands, as well as tons of fresh drinking water. Please support the resources listed there and support the Anishinaabe Nation in respecting their sovereignty. And this is with them and also beyond them as well. This can have ramifications on our Earth if we don't stop this. The pipeline is already 70% completed. Probably 80% by the time this video comes out. And it's already leaking. And it's not even fully on yet. So it's even more critical now more than ever to stop the pipeline before it gets into critical areas of nature and people's livelihoods. So please support them however you can, be it spreading the word of Indigenous creators, donating, or supporting the cause directly. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to do this, but I am hoping to visit the Red Lake Treaty Camp myself and maybe bring some stories forward of the various water protectors and advocates that are right there. Let us show solidarity to our Indigenous siblings. Show that they are not alone, and it's not just us. It's not just them. We are all affected by this. Thank you for watching this video. I know it's a little bit unusual, but I hope you all had a good time in whatever way you decide to jump into my full moon ritual tonight. So I update my TikTok pretty regularly, so feel free to check out that, as well as Twitch and my YouTube channel, DJ MK Off the Air. That's where all the on-demand tends to go. This one, it might go private, but we'll see. If you can comment below if you want me to do more of these. I'll update the description with the music that I featured on here on tonight's stream. I try to make sure to do that. I also, you can also check out my, whenever my streams come on Twitter at DJMK for Life, or even the alerts on Discord. And I have an old blog, bahokunoichi.blogspot.com, and waxgibbouswitch. That's my Fiverr page. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much again for joining me for this wonderful ritual. I hope you all have a fantastic night, a restorative weekend, and of course, may your heart be your guiding key. Happy full moon. Bye. And oh yes, I almost forgot. Tonight's ending song will be Coloratura by Coldplay. So be free to play that after you do this ritual. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. Bye.